A beautiful morning in Sherpur, Alwar, a part of the green belt in the otherwise dry and arid state of Rajasthan. The sleepy village slowly stirs to life as the first rays of the sun shine on it. For Munshi Khan, it is just another routine day. Getting dressed and going to work humming a doha or verse. Just one of the hundreds of verses he has heard, learnt and sung since his childhood. Munshi Khan is part of the unique Muslim Rajput Mewat tribe. They are a million-strong community living in southern Haryana and northeastern Rajasthan, a region broadly called Mewat. Mewat's boundaries are not precisely defined, but generally include Alwar and Bharatpur districts of Rajasthan and Gurgaon and Faridabad districts of Haryana. The entire Mewat region is situated in and around the Aravalli range of mountains. The region can trace its roots to the ancient kingdom of Matsya, founded in the 5th century BC. Historically, Mewat has been repeatedly invaded and plundered throughout the post-Vedic period. The destruction and devastation over the centuries has resulted in backwardness and underdevelopment of both the area and its proud people. Today, Mewat consists of mostly rural areas and the Meos here live off the land. Agriculture, sheep and goat rearing are their main occupations.
मेवात के लोगों का 80% का डिपेंड है कृषि के ऊपर और कृषि में जो आज के दौर के अंदर जो इस्तेमाल होने वाली जितनी भी चीज़ें हैं वो सब महंगी हैं और जब वो प्रोडक्शन हो जाता है उसकी कीमत कम मिलती है उत्पादन की। इसलिए अगर उनका हम तुलनात्मक ढंग से उसके ऊपर विचार करें तो खेती जो है इसका व्यवसाय हानि का व्यवसाय है और हानि के व्यवसाय होने के कारण अगर हम इसको ऑन द होल उसकी वो करें तो सर्वे करें तो मेवात की स्थिति जो है आर्थिक स्थिति बहुत दयनीय है और बहुत खराब है।
Culturally, the Meos are a unique community. They have two identities, both of which they are equally proud of. Though they are Muslims, they also claim to be Rajputs and believe that they are direct descendants of Krishna and Arjuna.
मेव जाति का इतिहास तो मैक्सिमम मौखिक है मिरासियों की और इनकी ज़बानों में, लेकिन जो हमने पढ़ा है उसके हिसाब से मेवात का इतिहास जो है हमेशा अपने आप को खुद मुख्तार रहने का रहा है और ये हमेशा लड़ते रहे हैं रूलर से, जो खासकर दिल्ली में जो रहे। और इसके जो कल्चर है ये हिंदू मुस्लिम मिला जुला गंगा जमनी तहजीब है।
This is a typical Meo man with a dark and weathered but proud face and a large elaborate turban called feita woven around his head. The feita holds special significance for the Meos. It represents their stature and complements their proud carriage. The elaborate process of wearing it is a tradition that Meo elders pass on to the youngsters. When a Meo boy is first made to wear a feita, it means that he must now take up the responsibility for his family. Meo women do not cover their faces with the customary parda or veil, but colorful stoles called odni are a necessary part of their attire. Even young Meo girls can be seen wearing the odni in public. Though they are fond of jewelry, they do not pierce their noses like other women in Haryana and Rajasthan. Color and art announces a Meo woman's presence. She makes the most of the limited resources available to her. Her work areas, especially the kitchen, are tiny but pretty. Meo women are generally more hardworking and active than their menfolk. They can be seen working everywhere. Besides handling all the work at home, they also tend to the animals, fetch drinking water and work in the fields. Most Meo men, on the other hand, like to take it easy. They're usually seen sitting around the chopal or village square and playing leisure games. The practice of early marriage is very widespread among the Meos. Traditionally, the wedding ceremony included both the nikah as in Islam and circling of fire as among Hindus, but not anymore. Nowadays, ceremonies are carried out in a completely Muslim fashion, but without much fanfare and glitz. The bride is simply dressed. The only thing that sets her apart is the auspicious henna on her hands. The groom too is dressed simply. A sehra or a veil of flowers is tied to his head. Then the ladies have fun singing traditional songs and applying kohl to his eyes. Almost every Meo village has a mosque, but throughout the region there are mixed places of worship visited by both Hindus and Muslims. The Mandir or Temple of Lal Das, a Muslim saint in Alwar, is one such example. Lal Das is said to have followed both Muslim and Hindu faiths, which is why people of all faiths visit this temple regularly.
मेरा नाम है इद्रीस, करीब मुझे 17-18 साल होगी। हमारा परिवार दर पे चले आ रहा है, तो मैं इसमें पाठ पूजा मैं ही करता हूँ। भाई पहले से बुजुर्ग चले आ रहे हैं, बुजुर्ग करते आ रहे हैं, हम भी चले आ रहे हैं उनके साथ में।
The temple is looked after by a mixture of Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs in the area. The people here believe that it is auspicious to bring their new vehicle to this temple. The head priest here, who is a Muslim, performs the ritual of blessing the new vehicle and chants Hindu mantras with ease. Despite their conversion to Islam, the Meos have followed some Hindu practices as inherited customs. Many Rajasthani Meos have retained mixed Hindu-Muslim names. Names such as Ram Khan or Shankar Khan were not unusual in the Meo tracts in Alwar. The Meos still regard the Mahabharat clans as their ancestors. For them, the folk epic is far more than mere myth and is central to their cultural identity. They have their own version of the Mahabharat called Pandu Ka Kada. Carrying forward their mixed cultural identity through the medium of folk music are the Mirasis or Muslim musicians. They can be seen regularly at late evening performances which celebrate their past. In the process, the younger generation is also exposed to this priceless heritage. The performance usually begins with a naat or a brief ode in praise of the Prophet Muhammad and Mankavat, which is sung in praise of Sufi saints. What follows is even more interesting. It is a musical rendition of the Pandu Ka Kada. The entire epic in its Meo form, rendered in the Mewati dialect, consists of 800 verses or dohas and takes more than 3 hours to recite. It relates the story of the 5 Pandav brothers, whom it describes as ancestors of the Meos. Finally, it ends with verses in praise of its composer, an early 18th century Meo Muslim called Saidullah Khan. Thanks to the popularity of the Pandu Ka Kada, the style of speaking in verses or dohas is something that comes naturally to the Meos. No conversation is complete without quoting something in a verse. They have been brought up listening to it and continue to teach their children this unique form of communication.
रहे अभर में सबर रहे काया में श्वासा, इतने चलाऊं सांस छोड़े न कोई भी आशा, जाए खोर से छोड़ करे जंगल में बासा, फिर जाए कब्र के बीच मना हूँ पूरा रासा, आवा मुनकर और नकीब जवाब हूँ खुलासा, हूँ अपनों कोई नहीं होएगी मारी मार, खक्के घाटी कब्र की आए तो खुदाई उतारे को पार.
Despite their rich cultural background and heritage, the Meos today are among the most disadvantaged communities in India. Meo youths are slowly losing their centuries-old multicultural identity, while their backwardness is making them lag behind in the race towards development. Several development indicators place the Meos at the bottom rung. Female literacy, for example, is the lowest in the country. The infant mortality rate is as high as 85 per thousand, while the female-male ratio is 884 per thousand as against the national average of 927. There are many factors that have contributed to this situation. The region severely lacks basic infrastructural facilities in terms of roads, safe drinking water, hospitals and schools. But the single biggest stumbling block has been the extremely low levels of education. The Meo Muslim community has historically been very backward in its approach to formal education, particularly girls' education. This is reflected in the extremely low literacy figures among both males and females.
मेवात और मेव जाति के लिए सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है एजुकेशन. एजुकेशन के बिना विकास होना संभव नहीं है, ये बिल्कुल साबित हो चुका है. और यहाँ जो हमारी मेंटलिटी है वो एजुकेशन पर सिर्फ शादी तक सीमित होकर रह गई है. हमें कोई प्रोग्रेसिव माइंड ना होने की वजह से हम एजुकेशन की तरफ हमारे अपनी टेंशन को हम डाइवर्ट नहीं कर पा रहे.
The poor socio-economic conditions and various challenges inspired the Delhi-based NGO Society for All-Round Development or SAD to begin work in this area. It felt that working with a minority disadvantaged community in the areas of education and social development would be extremely challenging, but also worthwhile. The aim was to increase literacy, but also to educate the Meos in their own tongue and beliefs so that they can retain their identity. Thus, in 1997, SAD began to improve the quality of life of the inhabitants of 5 Meo Muslim dominant villages, Padla, Hingota, Gadi Mewat, Toda and Rundku in the Deeg block of Bharatpur. Since then, SAD has expanded its work to 69 villages through 4 cluster resource centers of the district primary education program in 3 blocks of Deeg, Nagar and Kama. It first established Balwadis and non-formal education centers. Then it joined Aga Khan Foundation's Program for Enrichment of School-Level Education or the PESLE. As a PESLE partner, SAD transformed its Balwadis and non-formal education centers into Quality Education Centers or QECs. It currently operates around 9 of them, which students fondly call Hamara Talim Ghar. These Talim Ghars fulfill 2 different functions. They act as bridge schools that prepare non-starter and dropout children for entrance to mainstream schools. They also function as laboratories where innovations in minority education are developed and tested before being mainstreamed in local government schools. SAD currently operates 18 QECs in 14 villages. Of these, 9 are supported by the Aga Khan Foundation and 9 by the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust. 14 of these have been mainstreamed and have been highly appreciated by state education officials. The teachers at the Talim Ghars employ a child-centered and culturally relevant teaching approach. They use a variety of methods like demonstrations, question-answer sessions, teaching aids, and song and games to make learning both useful as well as fun. As a result, since their opening in 2001, these Talim Ghars have enrolled 2,400 children aged 3 to 14 years, who either had never been to school or who had dropped out of mainstream educational institutions. 1,200 children from these Talim Ghars have been mainstreamed to local government schools. To widen the scope of its activities and raise the general standard of education, SAD provides training and quality inputs for teachers in 12 government and 8 private schools located in the Mewat area. It also provides teachers to understaffed government schools here. SAD has also drawn the community's attention towards the importance of good healthcare. In addition, SAD also runs a physiotherapy center for children with special needs. Though promising, these efforts by SAD have just touched the tip of the iceberg. A lot more needs to be done for these proud and independent people. Only then will they hope to regain the glory of their past. Only then will they get the wings to fly towards a prosperous future.